if America is so bad that some people sell it as being so bad, why do people keep coming here? What is so like, okay, when we were in Iran, we had options. People were going into Spain. Some were going to Australia. Some were going to this. Only because they couldn't make it to America. But everybody's number one on the list was to come to America. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they wanted to go anywhere else. Again, going back, that is my biggest argument, where if America is so bad, if capitalism is so bad and abusive, why do so many people who are actually leaving an abusive environment are willing to come to a place that offers capitalism?
Patrick Bet David brought on Kyle Kulinski, one of the larger woke channels on YouTube, and Patrick Bet David tore Kyle Kulinski to shreds for multiple different reasons here, for multiple different woke takes that he had. What they're talking about is why America is the greatest country in the world. And of course, Patrick Bet David and Kyle Kulinski had some disagreements about this. Let's get into this clip here where Patrick Bet David slams Kyle Kulinski for his ridiculous woke takes here live on the PBD podcast.
Sell me to dream on. Hey, Patrick, you're 22 years old. I'm a regular guy. You know, my parents divorced. I don't have a lot of money. My dad's a cashier at a 99-cent store. I came from Iran. I lived at a refugee camp. I'm a regular guy. There's nothing about me that I'm coming with family money, any of this stuff. Sell me to dream. Hey, Patrick, you ought to one day, ... Sell me that dream. What does that look like?
Well, I mean, I think you should do whatever it is that you want to do. And I think you should be able to have a shot to do that fairly. So in other words, I don't think you should go bankrupt if you get medical bills. I don't think you should, have student loan debt that's so extensive that you can't ever pay it back. And by the way, you also can't file for bankruptcy on it because that's the way that they wrote the laws. I don't think people should be loaded up to the brim with credit card debt. Credit card debt is at a record high right now. I just read a stat the other day, 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So really, to sell you on the dream, I would honestly just point at some of the Scandinavian countries and say, look, they haven't eliminated capitalism. What they've done is they've harnessed the good parts of capitalism and mixed it in with the good parts of socialism so that they have, an intelligent hybrid where somebody who's 22 years old, just getting out of college, can have a chance to do whatever they want and make it.
So, okay, so and I rebuttal because let's just say there's a classmate sitting there and his dad's an executive at IBM, hypothetically, and he's doing $600,000 a year and he lives in a nice community. Yep. He says, so Kyle, if my dad's told me if these Scandinavian countries are so great, how come you're not moving there? And why is it that 40 million immigrants choose to come to America? And why don't they choose to go to some of these countries? What do you tell that 22-year-old smart aleck?
Well, why I'm not going there is because it's fucking cold. I'm in Miami, and I'm enjoying being in Miami right now.
So if it was warm, you would go, is what you're saying?
No, because I love my country. I love America. Whenever I criticize America, it's coming from a place of, like, I want to try to improve it and make it better. I don't think everything about this country is bad or wrong, but I think that there are things we can do to improve it. And, there's a very famous quote from one of the founding fathers, dissent is the highest form of patriotism. In the same way that if,
Yeah, that's... the dissent that the founding fathers were talking about is a little bit different than the dissent that Kyle Kulinski talks about and the followers of Kyle Kulinski talk about and carry out. The dissent that happens in modern day America is just simply America hating. Okay, like the summer of love in 2020 and all those riots and looting and everything like that. There's nothing positive that can come out of that at all. There's zero positivity that comes out of that. And then, once again, disclaimer, I am not on Ben Shapiro's favorite country side when it comes to this Middle East situation. I'm not at all on that side. But all of these people who are going on college campuses, the people who watch Kyle Kulinski and no doubt hate Patrick Bet David and everything that he stands for, those people who are going to do these quote unquote pro-Palestinian protests on these college campuses and just protests in general, no doubt don't give a singular F about what's happening in the Middle East. They just know that America is allied with Israel and they hate America and they want every single opportunity they can to go prove to the world how much they hate America because they want to be all edgy and everything. And then the way that they vote for who's going to take office, it signifies someone who just hates the country and wants to see the downfall of the country. So you can take these quotes from the founding fathers and say that you're carrying out the founding fathers' wishes. I promise you, Kyle Kulinski is not doing that. I don't think Kyle Kulinski is at like the most extreme radical person on the left. He's not by a long shot, but a lot of people who watch him are 100%. Like it's not patriotism for someone like Destiny, right? Destiny made fun of people who were at the Trump rally that got shot, including the guy that got shot and killed. Innocent guy. Did nothing wrong. I think he was a firefighter. Did nothing wrong. Destiny made fun of the guy. And then when confronted about making fun of the guy, he doubled and tripled and quadrupled down and said, if you go to a Trump rally, you deserve to be shot and killed. That's what he said. That's Destiny's words. I'm not making that up. He said that, and he's laughed about it. That is not the dissent that the founding fathers were talking about. That's hating your country. There's nothing positive going to come out of that at all.
God forbid, we saw one of our kids behind a dumpster smoking crack behind an Arby's. We'd be like, you know what? We're going to try to get them some help. We're going to try to get you in rehab. We're going to work on this. We're going to fix this. It's that same mindset that you apply to the country. It's, when you look at some of the things going on in this country, you say, this can't continue. I mean, we have 45,000 Americans that die every year because they don't have access to basic health care. That's something we can fix. And there's a lot of work put into convincing people that it's just a law of nature and there's nothing we can do about it. No, there's a lot we can do about it.
Okay, so let's stay on that. Hang on one second. I want to stay on this. So I want to go to the 22-year-old and selling the dream to this kid. So going back to it, I don't know who we had here on the podcast, but somebody recommends a restaurant to you. How do you and I judge a restaurant at noon? Like, let's say, hey, you know what? I've never been to Rifle before. Let's go there to eat for lunch. How do you and I judge a great restaurant?
How the food tastes, how the atmosphere is.
And then, okay, so the atmosphere meaning what? If the place is packed at noon and there's 100 people there and 20 people waiting to get inside, they're doing something right, okay? If you and I go to a restaurant at night and you're like, there's a restaurant in L.A., Rafi's Place, I go there all the time. If you go there on Mother's Day, it's a 3-hour wait, okay? Every day it's busy. It doesn't matter when you go there, right? If anybody says anything bad about the restaurant, like to say, well, my thing is I want to make this restaurant better because I think this restaurant can do, if they put the chairs this way and it's not fair to the fact that the employees and the busboys and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, dude, but
it's a good restaurant.
But it's not a good restaurant because you and I have an opinion that's a good restaurant. It's a good restaurant because it's always flipping packed, right? So if America was, and I know this is a random analogy I'm using, but if America was a restaurant, America is so packed and it's got a waiting list that if it's so bad with the existing ideas that it has, why do so many people still want to come here and not anywhere else?
Well, there's a very simple answer to that question, which is if you look at the places that a lot of these people are fleeing, they've been absolutely obliterated. They've been destroyed. So a lot of these countries have been ravaged by the drug war, whether it's, I think in Honduras, I read a fact a couple years ago, in Honduras, there's more violence than there was in Iraq at the peak of the Iraq war. So
it's a pretty crazy place.
I'm going to try to flee that. Yeah. I don't know about you. I'm trying to flee that. I'm going to try to take care of my kids. Mexico, similar situation. You have these drug cartels. Effectively, with help from our policy, we've made these narco states, south of us.
Yeah.
And so you have these, gangster states that are run by drug cartels because what we've done is we did the war on drugs. We made it illegal. What happens when you make it illegal is it gets pushed underground to the black market. That's how you make the drug cartels more powerful. The same thing happened here with prohibition when it came to the mafia. We made the mafia way more powerful because we decided to make alcohol illegal. That's when they got their most power and wealth. And so a similar thing happened with the drug war. What I would do is, number one, stop intervening in those countries militarily. And that's, a long conversation we could have about the history of the U.S. intervening in that area. And number two, let's end the drug war. So in other words, just kind of take our boot off the neck of a lot of these countries and make it so that people want to stay there. Because honestly, I really believe this. I think a lot of the people who are coming here, if they felt like their home country was safe and clean and okay, then they wouldn't want to come here. I think in many cases, it's a desperation type move.
But it's not just Honduras or Mexico. It's like, okay, you're half Italian and you're half Polish. Is it Polish or?
Yeah. So my mom's mom.
This is the type of mindset that I'm talking about, where it's like these people genuinely just deep down hate America. Kyle Kulinski somehow made Honduras being full of crime, Mexico being full of crime, and the cartels running Mexico. He somehow made that America's problem. I don't understand. He said if America would just get the boots off of their neck, then they wouldn't have these problems. I think the problems would be worse if America didn't get involved at all. They would be worse. Not that I think. I mean, look, I always try to check myself and understand that I've been propagandized just like every other country's population has been propagandized through the school system and everything. We're taught that America's always the good guys when they invade other countries. It's always out of the kindness of their own heart, all that stuff. So I try to check that and make sure that I'm not giving into the propaganda. But I feel like objectively, Honduras would be better off if America intervened more. They're not doing too well by themselves. Same thing with Mexico. But I also, at the same time, don't think it's our problem. I don't think that's our problem. We should be focused on what's happening inside of America. But I don't think it's our fault that these countries can't stand on their own. Why is that our fault? That's the kind of America-hating mindset that has been implanted into these people. That's why they act the way that they do. That's why people like Kyle Kulinski, they just don't like America. Even though it's the best country in the world to live in, they don't like it.
Is from Italy, basically. And on my dad's side, it's more of a... My last name, Kulinski, is a Polish last name, but I think it's a little more confusing than that.
You got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I got a little bit of everything.
I mean, even think you take your Italian, right? You take Jews, you take anything else you take. If America is so bad that some people sell it as being so bad, why do people keep coming here? What is so like, okay, when we were in Iran, we had options. People were going to Spain. Some were going to Australia. Some were going to this. Only because they couldn't make it to America. But everybody's number one on the list was to come to America. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they wanted to go anywhere else. Again, going back, that is my biggest argument, where if America is so bad, if capitalism is so bad and abusive, why do so many people who are actually leaving an abusive environment are willing to come to a place that offers capitalism, where a person who has not got the last name of Mitt Romney, his last name is Bet David, my parents haven't given me a penny. Last time I got an allowance, I was 14 years old. I'm not an allowance. I don't even know what allowance is, to be honest. I'm not even being sarcastic. I don't know what an allowance is, right? And so I come up here, I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit if you give me allowance. I'm just happy to be here. And I'm going to bring my Middle Eastern work ethic, and I'm banking on something's good going to happen to me. I don't have the money to go to school. I don't have the grades to go to school. Maybe I'm going to go in the military, get my act together, be away from some of these guys that are doing drugs, because a lot of my friends were, ecstasy, pot. They were selling. They were doing, like, I'm just got to get away from them. So I go into the military, and then I come out, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to. I was a bodybuilder. I'm going to learn how to sell. This is my way out. So again, for me, it goes back to the same thing. If socialism or social democracy is so amazing, why don't people go to those countries first before they come here?
Well, so I would say, number one, there is a refugee crisis in a lot of those countries. There are people kind of pouring into those countries. But number two, I think we're talking a little bit past each other, because I wouldn't say America's bad. Of course I wouldn't. I'm here. I love this country, right? The question is, I think it's just the wrong conversation to have.
You're not a capitalism guy. You're not a support.
Well, social democracy harnesses the best aspects of capitalism. Okay. So there is an element.
So maybe unpack the difference between the two.
Sure. So there's socialism, there's democratic socialism, and there's social democracy. Social democracy is a hybrid of capitalism and socialism, where basically you take the best aspects of capitalism, the best aspects of socialism, and you have this mixed system, which in theory would yield.
Dude, I don't even care. Like. It doesn't work, man. I don't care how you try to spin it. I don't care how you try to package it up, make it seem all nice and neat. It doesn't work, man. I don't want to package the best parts of capitalism and the best parts of socialism. I just want capitalism. Can we not see what has happened to every country that started to implement some socialist agenda? Like, even look at Canada right now, man. They're falling apart. They're absolutely falling apart, man. It never works. I'm tired of this conversation. It never works. Okay. I'm not doing it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about what Patrick Bet David had to say to Kyle Kulinski here. I wish Patrick Bet David would have went harder in this video. I get he was trying to stay cordial, but for me, it's like very obvious America hating things coming out of this guy's mouth, but it's not intentional. It's unintentional things that he's saying, but it just reveals the obvious brainwashing inside of Kyle Kulinski. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Patrick Bet David versus Kyle Kulinski situation.